Before we begin, a quick favor. If you've been enjoying the podcast, would you consider leaving a review? It really helps others find this space and join us on their own healing journey. If you haven't already, you can get your free IFS meditations at exploreifs.com. Welcome back to IFS Meditations and Insights. I'm Tim Fortescue, your guide on this journey toward wholeness through the lens of internal family systems. Together, we're creating a sacred space to explore, accept, and love all parts of ourselves. As we do this work, we open ourselves to experiencing divine love and living more authentically. Let's begin. Last week, I read the first chapter of my memoir, and if you want to check that out, you can find that at exploreifs.com/258 for episode 258. It's about a boy in government housing in South Carolina who learned to scan every room for danger before he could name what danger was. This week, I want to talk about what was happening inside that boy, not as a clinical lecture, as someone who lived it and now has language for what it was. In IFS, we talk about protectors. These are parts of us that take on roles, usually early in life, to keep us safe. They are not pathology, they're not dysfunction. They're intelligence, a young system reading its environment and responding with the most creative adaptation available to it. A boy who grows up in an unpredictable atmosphere, where moods shift without warning, where silence carries as much weight as shouting, where the emotional weather of a home can change before anyone names why. That child's system will develop parts whose job is to pay attention, to track, to adjust, to make sure nothing goes sideways. That is not anxiety in the clinical sense, though it can look like it from the outside. It is a protector doing its job, and it is doing its job because at some point the system learned that no one else was going to do it. Here's what I want you to understand. That protector is not your enemy. It is not the thing wrong with you. It is the part of you that figured out how to survive before you had any other options. And it has been working ever since, often without rest, often without recognition, often without anyone ever saying, I see what you are doing and I understand why. The problem is not that the protector exists. The problem is that it never got permission to stop. The atmosphere changed. You grew up. You left the house. You built a different life. But the protector did not get the memo. It is still scanning, still bracing for a shift in the weather that may no longer be coming. Let me name some of the most common protectors I see, both in myself and in the people I work with. The scanner. This is the part that reads every room. It notices tone, body language, micro expressions, silence. It knows when something is off before anyone says so. It learned its job in a home where the atmosphere could shift without warning, and it has never stopped working. The performer. This is the part that earns safety through achievement, helpfulness, or being impressive. It learned that being good at things made people happy, and happy people are safer to be around. So it kept performing, kept being useful, kept making sure it was needed. The hider. This is the part that gets small. It learned that visibility could be dangerous, that taking up space could attract the wrong kind of attention, that the safest thing was to reduce, pull in, disappear. The fixer. This is the part that tries to resolve tension before it escalates. It learned that if it could just make things better fast enough, the danger would pass. So it became hyper responsible, always mediating, always smoothing. None of these are dysfunction. All of them are intelligence. All of them made sense in the original environment. All of them carry a cost when they never get permission to rest. The cost is exhaustion. The cost is distance from your own feelings. The cost is a life that looks functional from the outside while the inside is running on fumes. The cost is relationships where you are present, but not really present, because some part of you is always working instead of resting. In IFS, we do not try to get rid of protectors. We do not override them or push past them. We turn toward them. We get curious. We ask, what are you afraid would happen if you stopped working, or at least stopped working so hard? And we listen, really listen, not to fix, not to rush, just to understand. What I have found in my own system and in the people I work with is that protectors do not need to be defeated. They need to be met. They need someone, usually self, to finally say, I see you. I know why you are here, and I am here now too. You do not have to do this alone anymore. This is not a one time conversation, it is a relationship. It builds over time, but it begins with recognition, with turning toward the part that has been working the longest and offering it something it may never have received: gratitude, curiosity, and the beginning of trust. For me, that protector was the scanner, the one who read every room, the one who stayed a step ahead, the one who never rested because resting might mean missing something dangerous. That part lived inside of me and was often leading for 30 years. And I didn't even know it was a part. I thought it was me. IFS showed me it was something I carried, not something I was. And it was actually a burden this part carried, not something that it was. And that distinction changed everything. Not all at once, not dramatically. Sometimes parts of me still doubt. But over time, as I kept turning toward that protector with curiosity instead of frustration, something began to shift. It did not disappear, but it softened. It loosened its grip. It began to trust that I could hold what it had been holding, that it did not have to carry everything alone anymore, and that we could even let it go. That is what I want for you too. Not the removal of your protectors, the meeting of them, the slow, patient work of showing up for the parts of you that have been showing up for you without rest for as long as you can remember. If you notice something in yourself while listening to this, a tightness in your chest, a familiar scanning, a part that perked up and said, that's me, I want you to know that noticing is the beginning. You do not need to do anything with it yet. Just notice. Just let it know you see it. Next week, I'll offer a guided meditation that helps you do exactly that. We'll go back to the idea of the living room that was the first chapter of the memoir. And I'll see you there. And again, if you would like to listen to that first chapter, you can find it at exploreifs/258. And if you'd like to be notified when I release the book, you can be on the list to be notified and get on there at exploreifs.com/unburdened. Thanks so much for meeting me here, and take good care of yourself. That wraps up another episode of IFS Meditations and Insights. If today's episode was meaningful to you, please follow, subscribe, and share with someone who might need it. A positive review helps more people find this healing work. And don't forget, you can get your free IFS meditations at exploreifs.com. And until our next session, be gentle with yourself. I'll try to do the same because we're beloved human beings.